So we've come deeper into the wood. It's now rather dark and cold, and you can hear birds, but everything's rather muted. But we get the sense, really, don't we, that by the time we've got to the Romantics, the forest has been defanged. It's almost impotent. That can't be great for art.
Except that I think it unleashes other kinds of imaginative response, especially a dark forest like this. You can imagine all sorts of things going on because you can't see very far and we just don't know what's behind the next tree. And I think that possibility of getting lost in here, that aspect of the forest, starts to really seize the imagination in the 19th century.
I'm just going to shake this spider off my arm, which is appropriate.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a sense of malevolent beings that live in the forest, but what about malevolent trees? Is there any sense that the forest itself is somehow dangerous, or is it just what it might harbour?
Yes, I think the trees can be very frightening, and you see that in some of the late 19th century children's illustrations. Some of Arthur Rackham's pictures are really very threatening. You do have trees with kind of long arms, or people with bits of tree kind of growing out of them. They're really quite alarming transformations. And I think when you look at old trees, they do have these strange shapes, and you can see faces in them, and you can see bony fingers. So I think there are quite a lot of different sorts of forest in Tolkien, aren't they? They're very much part of his imagination, and I think he's obviously inspired by his studies of medieval literature, but I think also by the trees he knew in his childhood, not a million miles from here. I think the Moseley Bog was very important to him, and I think that nourished his imagination. And then when he's creating these fantasy worlds, I think Tolkien was very kind of dismayed by the way trees could be felled so quickly by a chainsaw. I mean, even one of these enormous, beautiful giants that had been living there for hundreds of years could just be felled, in a few minutes. So I think he's very disturbed by that, and I think he's responding to that in his book.